All right, so when you start the Carrier program, it opens up with the version, and you have to say OK, and you're just really going to hit OK here. Then it's got some things it wants to tell you about Carrier version 6.3.1, minor updates from 6.3, which corrects 5 operating problems. Okay, we'll deal with these. These aren't anything special. They're just literally the updates that happen between things. And for what we're going to do, we'll be okay. So literally all you got to do is say, you don't have to see this again, start up, and you can say okay. All right. Every project has to start with a name, and we're going to come up with a name. So we're going to do a new project here, or if we had an existing project that we wanted, we can come over and click on browse. Okay, so we're going to hit new, and okay, we get this for preferences. And what we're really working on is identifying the weather group that happens to go with this. So one of the things that Carrier does is it always uses O'Hare International Airport as a baseline for where it starts. So if you don't identify it as a new location, that's what it's going to do. Easiest way to do is go through the preferences here, and then we'll work our way back to the weather. Okay, so preferences. We can have a leads building. So if I click on this, you'll see leads version 4. It's going to make it a much more energy efficient building. We can actually kind of skip that for what we're doing with our projects, but there are places out there where that is a necessity. For instance, here at SUNY Canton, the CARC is a LEED silver eligible building. We didn't go for the certification because it costs money, but it was designed to the LEED standards. Okay, so right now we're going to say not applicable. Ventilation standards. The options here are user defined, which I'd never do. 2004 was the first set of standards that came out. 2007 is the last paper copy of the standards that I got. But we're going to go all the way down using 2019 because it only makes sense. And the energy standard, same thing. We're going to use 2019. If we were actually going to get into a computer model of the cost of energy of this project, we would want to use it in dollars. But just for those who are watching, we got pounds, euros, and believe it or not, yen. So we're going to leave it in dollars. And really got to do is say okay. And then populate a new project with default space types. You can say yes. Let's just see what that does. And it brings up what type of facilities you are designing. Okay. So it'll be your default. So I don't tend to do that. I usually pick my building type when I go pick my start doing my floor plans in here. Okay. But we have correctional facilities, courthouses, educational K through 12, universities, hospitals, outpatient hospitals or healthcare, hotels, manufacturing, motels, theaters, office space, and theaters for performing arts, religious, restaurants, retail, warehouses, and anything else you'd like to include. So we're going to cancel out of this because I'm not going to do that. And we're going to pick ours when we get to the project. So that's the project. We go over to the general tab up here at the top, name of the can, SUNY Canton. We're going to do it in English. And we're going to pretty much take all these as they show. Okay. It will show warnings. Warnings will show up red when you're doing this. And we're going to say okay. All right, so that leads us to the weather. And we need to declare someplace other than Chicago. So we get this pop-up screen, which is design parameters, design temperatures, design solar, and then for the energy modeling, the simulations that would go with it. So we're not going to use Chicago for our first project. We're using a Plattsburgh. We're in Plattsburgh, New York. So we're going to hit next. So it'll give us that. We can type in and what you get to see is how many towns across America, or actually across the world, are named Plattsburgh. We're going to go with the second one. That's Plattsburgh, New York. Interesting thing is you get your latitude and longitude here, and we say next. And what we're looking for is all the weather stations that are around there to choose from. So it being Plattsburgh, we're going to choose Plattsburgh International. There are things if I was creeping westward into the Adirondack Mountains from Plattsburgh, I might not want to use Plattsburgh per se. I might like to get to Saranac, the Adirondack Regional Airport, which will have a weather collection that'll give me a little bit different weather pattern for, say, Dannemora and places inside here. Okay, so but we're going to do this in downtown Plattsburgh, so we're going to hit Plattsburgh, and then we're going to say next. Oh, by the way, so that was a map view. There's the list view, just in case you wanted to see the list of which ones were which. This does help because as you look at this, you see Plattsburgh has a winter dry bulb temperature of negative 8.7, where was the Adirondack Regional Airport here has a minus 18. So if we're looking for the worst design condition, we might want to go to Saranac Lake for the Adirondack Regional Airport. But that's the only difference between those two listings is you get to choose the maps, and if you know what your list is that you're looking at, you can pretty much choose your map from the map view. Hit next. Okay, so it confirms all the stuff we picked. Summer, we have a dry bulb of 86.8, while wet bulb of 71. That'll help with our air conditioning design. Winter bulb, minus 8.7. Elevation, we're 234 feet above sea level. And we're in climate zone 6A, which means we're cold and humid. Okay, and there's our latitude and longitude again. And you can pretty much say finish on this one. That takes care of that. Now, the rest of this chart, because we selected Plattsburgh, it filled in all the rest of the detail here. We can modify these, but there really is no reason to do that. They just break these down so you can see it. This will be generated out as a report, and we'll have it separate. In design temperatures, we can go through this. We can see what the dry bulbs are for, dry bulb and wet bulb on a monthly average, and then the hourly details of what it looks like on the hour based on which month, and you can slide across this bottom to see other months of the year. Okay, just a reminder that the hourly analysis program works on hour data over 365 days. This data has been compiled for the last 30 years with the national weather data. So every 10 years, we advance another 10 years, but it's 30 years worth of data. So we're 2026, we're working on the 2020 data, and in 4 more years, they will bring it forward, and we'll be working on the 2030 data. Okay. All right. So we're good there. Design solar, same thing. It picks that all up. But if you're ever interested in stuff, this is a great place to find this information. We need this more when we do the air conditioning designs. How much direct solar radiation is coming in. It's in BTUs per square feet hitting this building. And then the last one is simulations, and it wants to know where the holidays are, which months and stuff are going on. Not going to get into that so much to say we'll build schedules, and then we may come back and modify this in the second project. But this first project, just wants you to get used to using the software. So, all right, you can import weather data from someplace else. Let's say you wanted, I have a set of data I can bring in that I know is more accurate. I can import that. Okay, we're not going to do that. We're going to live with the ASHRAE data for this. Okay, yes, of course, you should build this so you always know what the holidays are. Like we know January 1st is a holiday, so we're going to punch that one out. Okay. Um, we're going to move 22nd, 23rd is a holiday, so we can write that in, do things like that. Okay. So that's all important. It just helps with the schedules of the buildings. Okay, so say okay here, and it's saving the weather data. So now we got Plattsburgh. Cool. All right, I'm going to stop the video there, and we'll come back and we'll pick up with building floor plans in the next video.